Hi, this is Alan's Firearms and Guns Plus More, and that's a Daewoo. What's a Daewoo, you say? Not a Wahoo, but a Daewoo. Wahoo's a fish. A Daewoo's a gun. A lot of people don't know Daewoo, or a lot of people don't know, never heard of Daewoo before, and some people know them. Some people know the some people know the story about the stock that crashed on this and then came back. But Daewoo makes everything from armored vehicles, armament, guns. Daewoo is very well known in the lawnmower field by professional gardeners and professional landscapers. Daewoo made cars for a little while. They tried, and they still may make them, but they don't. They try to bring them into this country and failed miserably because they were crap. This is a DP-51 system to it. And, I mean, I've never shot one, but it's an interesting system, which I'll show you and why I say it's interesting. So I took this out and shot it, and they may make great ARs, but their pistol is just okay. I mean, it shot okay, but it was a little rough handling. It has as much recoil as most 9s of its time. It's a real basic gun. It's got some nice features. It's got a safety that's ambidextrous. It's got a nice big slide release. You can't miss it. But what's really cool about this gun, and of course it has a thumb magazine release. What's really cool about this gun, and before I show you that, I'm going to make sure it's safe. And of course it is. What's really cool about this gun, you put it on safety, it does not decock. What you do is you push the hammer forward. When you push the hammer forward, it's in a decocked position. When you pull the trigger, nothing happens. And nothing happens because the safety's on. If I take the safety off and pull the trigger, watch the hammer. It flips back. My first pull on the trigger flips that hammer back. So it's not a true decock where the gun is decocked. It's just hammer forward, which stops it from shooting. But you have to pull it, and it goes into a single action position. Very light. It's not like a double action. It's like just a long travel, no pressure. And then it has a single action trigger pull. That makes this fantastic because you don't have to get used to 2 different trigger pulls. It is so close. It's unbelievable. Now, it can still fire double action. So if you have this in your hand and you pull the double action, you can feel the huge difference between this and that. Okay, I don't know if you can tell a difference here, but yeah. Now, I took this out to the range and shot it, and I tried to take some video of it, and it was so sunny out there, I couldn't see the screens. I messed up every video I did, which you're going to see some of these videos come out, and you're going to say, what the hell was he doing? Because I'm going to put what I did get out of it on. This one, I got pure sound. I got no video on it, which really sucks. But it shot well. You know, I didn't have any jams. I didn't have any problems. I shot a mixed bag of ammo in it. It fired, you know, nicely. Little heavy on the recoil. It bit me back here, not slide bite. It's just was hitting me in a weird spot right in here. But if I found one of these, if you find one of these out there, they're harder and harder to find. I've had 2 in 10 years, maybe 3. But if you can find one of these, and the way you test it will say Daewoo, you cock the trigger, you push it forward. That's how you can tell that it's a Daewoo with what they call the speed hammer. You can pick one of these up for $300 or $400. Grab it. If you can pick it up for $3, it's a steal. Grab it. I got lucky. This one came with 3 magazines. Isn't that cool? So let's jump to the workbench, field strip it, clean it, lube it, and put it back together again. Welcome to the workbench, and here we are with the Daewoo. And I'm going to show you we're going to get some closer and better looks at it. Let's take a look at the sight picture on this firearm. It's got pretty small sights. Here, I'm going to zoom in on it a little bit. Okay, so we can... It's got small white dot sights on there, but they're easy to line up and use. So here you go. Like I told you, there's some interesting things about this gun, so we're going to go over them. First, let's practice some safety 3 times. Look down the chamber, look down the magazine well. Take my word for it. I had someone go like this once and then pull the trigger and it went bang. So look, pulling it isn't enough. If you have a bad extractor or a bad round and it's stuck in there and it's live, it's going to go bang. So it's got ambidextrous safety on here. And what makes this cool, it also has, okay, that makes it cool is when you cock the gun and it's loaded, okay, and you put this on safety, it doesn't decock the gun, so it doesn't go into a double action mode, even though it's a double action firearm. But what you do is you push the hammer forward and you have what's called a quick set, meaning when I pull this trigger, I can just, you see, it just comes back. First of all, nothing's going to happen because the safety's on. So I take the safety off, and when I pull the trigger, it's just going to flip back the hammer. Look at that. Flip. It's not a heavy pull. It's a very light pull. It's like, imagine pulling a single action gun that has a long trigger pull. It's just long. There's no pressure on it. So it flips that hammer back real fast, and then it can be fired. Now, double action mode, it's a lot harder. Here, that's double action. That's just the flip. See that? Well, let me show you. See, that's the single action trigger position. It only moves a little bit, and it doesn't feel like it's double action. It feels like it's single action. It's great. So that's the nice part about it. The bad part about it is it's got these really sharp grips on here, and it made it rough for me to shoot it. It was kind of rough. I guess if you put better grips on it, it would be better. It was not accurate for me. That's not to say it's not an accurate gun, but it wasn't accurate for me. It has a 13-round magazine. I was able to get 12 rounds into it. Has this one comes with 3. I don't know how they're normally packed. I don't have the original box. But this one has a 3 13-round magazines. I was able to get 12 in pretty easily. The 13 is a lighter number, as though, yeah, you can get it in, but they're not recommending it type deal. The magazine release is right here, so you can hit it with your thumb or this finger. It has a nice slide release on it that is easy, whether it has an empty or loaded mag in here. Very simple. Now, let's take this puppy apart. So, the easiest way to take this apart is you bring this into this position. Okay, so you pull this back to this position. You push that little pin out from the other side, and it will come out. See this position? This notch is right above that. Now I can come forward with this, and it will slide right off. No need to pull the trigger. Long spring rod comes right out, forward and out. Let's spray some lubricant in here and cleaner. I use Strike Hold. It's a CLP, so it does everything, including lube and clean and protect. I like it because it doesn't do any damage to the finish of the gun. You can wipe the whole thing down with it. You don't have to worry about the finish of the gun. That's why I like it so much. If we're using traditional cleaner, with traditional cleaner, we'd have to wipe every place where you touch it with cleaner. You'd have to touch it with oil to turn it off. Okay, so going to get some on here. I like using wooden sticks because I get into small areas, tight areas like the slide rails, without marring the metal, because it's wood. Wood is going to mar the wood. The gun will mar the wood before the wood will mar it. But I can get in here and really get it clean. And when I'm in an area that's even too small for that, I have these little skewers that I got from the supermarket. And what they really are for small shish kebab, you know, to put small fruit and vegetables on your grill. Now, the thicker sticks you can get, sometimes you can find, they look like this, but they're thicker. Those are the best. They're round, they have a point, the other side's flat. Get them, they're for jelly apples or caramel apples, and during the fall you can usually pick them up at the supermarket. If you're in the wrong season, you can get these, which work out very nicely too. I get those in the craft shop, you know. Tell you, there's a lot of stuff you can find in a craft shop that they don't have anywhere else. They make some good stuff to play with and for tools and stuff. You know, you just got to use your imagination. You having a problem with something? Think of what the solution would be. Go to a craft shop and then you'll find what you thought up right there. It's amazing. Okay, this is thick enough for me to get my finger in here to make sure I clean out the magazine well, because it's a double stack magazine. Okay, I'm going to get all these places in here. That's clean. Let's get to this. See the stick? I can get right down in here where I would have trouble getting there with my fingers. So this makes it real easy. Look how much dirt I got out of there. Right on the tip of that stick. Then I'm going to come down in here and clean each of the slots in the slide. That's where you can get metal on metal contacts, so you want to make sure they're really nice and clean. You have dirt in there. What happens is, you say, oh, I never jammed one just because that's dirty. No, what happens is the dirt in there acts like sandpaper, and as you're using the gun, makes those slide slots wider, so then your gun starts to be more shaky and it's looser, and a looser gun is not an accurate gun. Now, it may take even more to get it to jam because it's so loose, which for a military gun, that's fine. But if you're shooting targets, it's the exact opposite of a military gun. You want it a little loose so it doesn't jam easily. Now, Glock seems to have found a way around that problem because their guns are not loose. Well, they're loose, but they can handle a lot of dirt, but they don't jam, and they're still very accurate. Then I'm going to get this. This is real important. This is my battery, and I'm going to make sure I get underneath that extractor, because if you don't get underneath that extractor, look at that. You'll have that is a place where you'll have a failure. Now I got these two dirty white dots, and I'm going to use this. Look at that. I got a lot of dirt out of there. That's what's nice about these wooden points. They won't scratch up metal and this other stuff, but they're great to get dirt out. Well, that one went flying. Dirt out of these places. Yeah, that's what they look like. Bamboo skewers. See that? Just do that again. Just move this around in here. Move this around in here. Take cloth, wipe that out. Look at that. It's not 100% better, but it's a little bit better. You guys put cleaner on those dots without any oil on those dots. In a couple of months, those dots wouldn't be there. Okay. Let's get make sure we get the ramp, upper ramp and lower ramp. We want to make sure that's absolutely, positively clean. Another thing that these sticks are good for, if you have a tough spot on there, you can use them to push the dirt off, break up the carbon, and they won't mar the wood because they won't mar the metal because they're wood. You do that with a punch or something, you may get it clean, but you also may scratch the gun. But I love real comments. I love it when people tell me that I help them. I love it when people have their own ideas. Someone put one down. I haven't answered his comment yet, but I noticed it. using something to break up cosmoline. He said it. I forgot what it was, but I'll make comment on it. And it's like, that's great. I mean, people come up with some great ideas, things that I haven't heard of. And it's great. If they're actually using it and it works for them, hey, you know, you have an idea, you have something someone taught you or showed you, or you figured out something, let us in on it. This is a community. You can see what I'm doing to the barrel. I'm getting all the parts clean. This nice barrel. It almost feels like aluminum, it's so light. But I know it can't be, because aluminum would blow apart under a pressure of a 9. Now, I did all these guns. I did a shoot on these guns. This one, I went backwards. I turned the recorder off when I was shooting this gun. I got sound, but I got no video, because I do a separate sound system. And then the thing is, when I was done shooting this gun, I have video of me walking around and cleaning up the shells and getting ready for the next gun to shoot. Man, this was not a good day on the range. I mean, it was a great day on the range, but it wasn't a good day to film. You notice what I do is I get in here and under the feeding fingers, I push down the follower and get that. Listen to me. If you are using regular gun cleaner and you do that, you've got to hit this whole area with oil afterwards. Otherwise, it will eat away that follower. You'll have all sorts of issues. Okay, let's get the spring. And the rod, that spring can go on either direction. See, there's no difference between the front and the back. But I'm going to put it on in the direction I take it off. It's just a little pet peeve I have. That way, I do the same thing with every gun. I never make a mistake. Okay, I shouldn't say never. Now let's oil this firearm. So, the places we want to oil it are simple. All the places that have metal-to-metal contact. If you were to, like I said, if you were using regular cleaning fluid, that's the only reason I'm going to use oil, regular cleaning fluid. You have to first lubricate it, then you have to wipe it down. So the places you need to lubricate it are the rails that the slide goes on. So we're going to get those, the tops, sides. You don't need a lot of oil. It doesn't call for a lot of oil. I'm switching to my other stick, going up and down the slots in the slide, because you don't need a lot of lubrication in a gun. All you need is enough for the slide on metal to metal. If you put too much in, it's just going to build up dirt faster, and it's not good for the gun. Then I'm going to wipe down wherever I hit it with oil. Okay, so give it a good wiping all the way through. I'm going fast, okay, but you should do it, you know, the way I cleaned it, you should do that with the oil. Also, very important, down the barrel. Why down the barrel? No, it gives it a little protection, but you were turning off that cleaning stuff. Otherwise, it's going to start rounding off your rifling. Okay. Let's put this puppy back together again. We drop in the barrel, we take the spring, put it in the spring housing, move the guide rod forward, drop that down, match up your slide rails to your slide slots, slide it on. You want to see that hole, you want to get it so the barrel lug matches. Now you put this in a little bit. Now the barrel is locked into place, and you don't have to worry about the barrel moving. So you move that, match it up to there. You know, you match up that slot right where it's supposed to be, and you push down that, and there you go. It's back to working condition. And that's the Daewoo. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Thank you for joining me for the interesting Daewoo, okay? I hope you had fun with this, and please like and subscribe. I'll see you next time.